Welcome back friends to another session of finite element methods in fluid mechanics. We have been looking at the temporal discretization of our semi-discrete forms. So, we have used one method for the first order ordinary differential equations that we have, which is the generalized trapezoidal method. In the last session, we looked at the stability properties of that method. Today, we are going to look at consistency, and thereby by looking at consistency and stability together, we will also look at the convergence property of the method. So, let us look at the consistency properties. And we will focus on the generalized trapezoidal method. So, let us look at our single degree of freedom toy problem. So, we will consider d dot plus lambda h d equal to f. This is a single degree of freedom problem, where f is some kind of a forcing, lambda h, as we discussed in the last session, is an eigenvalue, and d is the displacement. Dot here denotes it is a time derivative. So, there is an initial condition that at t equal to 0, we will specify the value d0. F can be a function of time. So, I can actually put it here explicitly that it is a function of time. So, let us call this as equation 1, this as equation 2, and this is the system to which we want to get a numerical solution. So, let us apply the generalized trapezoidal method. I hope by now you have gotten used to the method. So, for the first term I am going to write d n plus 1 minus d n. The notation is n plus 1 denotes the values at time level n plus 1, and likewise this is at level n, divided by delta t. So, that is the approximation for the time derivative. Lambda h times d, this I am going to evaluate at n plus alpha, and similarly f is going to be evaluated at n plus alpha. The understanding is that this quantity is given as alpha times f n plus 1 plus 1 minus alpha times f n. Similarly, this quantity over here, the displacement at n plus alpha, is alpha d n plus 1 plus 1 minus alpha d n. So, I can rearrange this equation, and thereby I would get, if I look at the coefficients of d n plus 1. So, there is a 1 here from this term, and from this term I am going to get plus alpha delta t times lambda h, and then for the dn, let me collect the terms here. So, there would be a 1 here and minus 1 minus alpha lambda h delta t times, well, there is already a dn here, and this is going to be a delta t times f n plus alpha. So, I am going to leave it as is, and now I can divide the whole equation by this coefficient here of dn plus 1. So, let us write that down. So, this would become d n plus 1 minus, I have 1 minus alpha lambda h delta t divided by 1 plus alpha delta t lambda h, this is dn, and this is equal to delta t times f n plus alpha divided by this quantity 1 plus alpha delta t lambda h. This, if you recollect, is A. This is the amplification factor. In fact, in the last session we had considered the homogeneous problem d dot plus lambda d equal to 0, and there we got a similar equation where the right hand side did not exist and we simply had dn plus 1 is amplification times dn. So, that is this, and this quantity over here I am going to call this as Ln. So, this is just a notation, and therefore, I can write this equation as the following: d n plus 1 minus a dn, this is going to be given as Ln, and let me call this as equation number 3. So, again very similar to the equation we derived in the last session, except that there is a term on the right hand side which is essentially because of the forcing. Okay. dn plus 1 and dn are the values, the approximate values of d at time levels d at n and n plus 1. So, if I had to draw a diagram, if this is my time, so I am talking about two relevant time levels here. So, this is Tn, this is Tn plus 1, and if I am taking a uniform time step delta t, then this is equivalent to n delta t, and this is equivalent to n plus 1 times delta t. Somewhere there is a time level T n plus alpha. So, the value here is d of T n plus 1, this value is d T n, and these are exact values. I also have the approximate values, or which are the numerical values that I am actually trying to find out, and these values I am saying this one is approximated as dn plus 1, which I am going to compute, and likewise this is dn. So, as you can see, there is going to be an error between the exact value, sorry, this is the exact value, and the numerical value. Okay. So, this equation is the algorithm. Equation 3 actually tells us a numerical algorithm to solve equations 1 and 2 which we have given earlier. Now, suppose I want to replace dn plus 1 with d of t n plus 1, and similarly d of n with d at t n. If I do that, then that is not going to satisfy my equation 3 exactly, right, because this is my numerical algorithm. So, there is going to be some error. So, I will rewrite equation 3. So, 3 actually becomes d at t n plus 1 minus a times d at t n. This minus ln is going to be some error which I am going to denote by delta t times tau at time level t n. So, this here is the truncation error. And this I am going to call as equation number 4. So, I hope the essence is clear. What we are saying is that if I replace in the numerical algorithm with the exact solution, then it will not satisfy the algorithm exactly, rather there would be a small residue, and that residue is being denoted by delta t times tau, the truncation error. So, the definition of a consistent algorithm is the following. So, we are going to define consistency in the following manner, that if tau of t, the magnitude of that is going to be smaller than c times delta t to the k, where c is a constant and is independent of delta t, and k is going to be a number which is greater than 0, then the algorithm which is defined by this 3, defined by equation 3, is consistent. And this value k corresponds to the order of accuracy or it is also known as rate of convergence. Okay, so what we are saying is that if tau is bounded, okay, and the bound is via this constant and delta t to the k, but k has to be necessarily greater than 0. So, the idea is that as my delta t goes to 0, okay, then my truncation error also goes to 0, and thereby I would have the error going to 0. So, so that is the definition of consistency, and now we are going to show that the generalized trapezoidal rule that we are using is actually a consistent method. So, we will show that there exists a form of truncation error that looks like this, and we will also try to determine what is k. So, let us do that. So, this is the proposition the generalized trapezoidal rule is consistent and k is equal to 1 for all alpha belonging to 0 to 1 except at alpha equal to half, where k is equal to 2. So, we are going to show that the generalized trapezoidal rule is actually a consistent method and the order of accuracy is 1 at all alpha, but something special happens at alpha equal to half, which is the Crank-Nicolson method, where actually the order of accuracy is 2. Okay. So, let us look at the proof. I am only going to give you a sketch of the proof and you can fill in the details yourself. So, we are going to use the Taylor series expansion. So, use the Taylor series expansion, and we are going to do the following. So, first I am going to write d at t n plus 1, and this I can write as d at t n plus alpha plus 1 minus alpha delta t times d dot at t n plus alpha, and then I have another term which is 1 minus alpha delta t whole square by 2 times d second derivative of t n plus alpha, and I can do another third order term 1 minus alpha delta t, this is cube divided by factorial 3 d, and this is the third derivative now, time derivative at t n plus alpha, and higher order terms. So, let me just say this is a term of the order of delta t to the fourth. I am now going to write down d at level t n also in this form, and then we are going to use these, put it back into our algorithm and get expression for the truncation error.